Hello everyone, and welcome back here on Eiersholt farm. As you can see, we're taking grass right now. It's coming towards the end of the day. It's been going on for a little while. This is the first field. Still got two more to clear here during the early autumn, but we got one more day in seasons to get it fully cleared, so not too concerned about that. Just waiting for this guy. He's doing a bit of a funny pattern here. This is the last bit of the field. Everything else has been cleared off pretty well. So I just gotta see if I can sneak in around there. Good, here we go. Yeah, so there's not much left on this field. We got the silage pit emptied in the last episode. We took the remnants up to the BGA, and that's why we are now sitting on a pretty good sum of money. Well, that's part of the reason. I also sold the first load of our straw pellets, which is turning out to be a pretty decent earner. We sold about 45,000 litres and it earned us 60,000 euro for that one load, and there's still plenty left in the shed. We'll have a look at that a little bit later. That'll be our kind of evening time occupation for today. So the main jobs today is really to finish off this field at least. I'll probably keep going with some of the other ones, but I can do that off screen because we've done a couple of silage episodes. Whoops, I am full. So we've done a couple of silage episodes already, so I'm not gonna spend the whole episode just running silage again. There are a couple of other things we want to get underway as well. So I'm just going to get this guy to head up to the farm. We're going to take the next one down so we can get this field finished off. So our second forage wagon is up at the farm, and we just got to tip into the pit, and then we'll be heading down to the field, and I think hopefully we'll be able to fit the last load in here. That should help us quite a bit. There's a decent enough stack here. This is of course just about a third of what we're going to get in. So this pit should fill up to a fairly good degree. It's not going to be like completely full to the top all the way through. But we got about 400,000 litres sitting over in the pit next to us. And we'll probably end up with something similar in this one. So we better get this tractor down to the field. And there's the other tractor coming down with a full load. So that's the benefit now, at least, of running the auto drive. I still haven't quite figured out how to get Courseplay to do a follow on the harvester, but we're managing fine with this slightly more manual method. There's a little bit, of course, where the Jaguar's sitting still while we're swapping around tractors here, but it's much shorter than if we were just driving a single one. Right, so I'm just taking over on the Jaguar here for the last bit. I'm just seeing if I can get the guy to come up on my side here a bit. Seems a little bit cautious, but I think we're managing. There we go. That's a little bit better now. Can just about manage to shoot down to the trailer. So this should work okay for this last bit. It's just a little bit easier to take the long strips and keep going side to side here. Right, that is us done with this field. The Jaguar will be moving down to the next field, so I'm just gonna leave it here for a moment. and I'm gonna grab the tractor. Whoa, almost hit a tree there. Oh dear. I think we're okay though. Right, we'll get the last bit of grass up to the farm. We actually need our pickup truck as well. The next bit we're going to do is actually we are, before the dealership closes again, we always seem to be doing this towards the end of the day, but I got a piece of machinery that I want to swap out. As you can see, we're sitting pretty good on money, 491,000. So there's two things I want to do. One is we want to swap out our large Horsch Certo 12 meter seeder. The Certo is a perfectly decent seeder, but it's not direct drill. And with the new Kverneland and Vicon DLC, there is a 12 meter Kverneland seeder that is direct drill. So we are going to be swapping out. Obviously, we're resale value. We haven't had the Certo that long, so we'll get a decent amount of money back for it. But obviously, we are going to be paying a fair bit to bring in a brand new seed on the other hand. So I'm just going to head down, get this grass unloaded. Then we are gonna use one of our tractors to swing down. We'll probably use one of our New Holland tractors, leaving the John Deere's here to carry on with the silage work in the meantime. And we'll get one of those. We also need the other New Holland rigged up with some twin tires to be able to do some compaction here on the silage and start leveling it off a bit, because right now it's all looking very lumpy. We've just been reversing these trailers in and dumping it in, and we haven't started leveling it yet, but I'll be doing that later on. And obviously we don't really want to start doing too much of it until we are getting a little bit more full perhaps, but it'll be nice to start leveling the back off a little bit. So we're in one of our T7s. We are going to go up to our shed here where we tend to keep all of our seeders, and we're just going to take a quick look at what it is that we're going to be doing right now. So if we just park here for a second. So we do have a 9 meter Horsch Pronto sitting here. That is a perfectly decent planter for our medium-sized fields, and it is direct drill. And then we have our Certo sitting here. That one is not direct drill. Our planter over here is the Maestro, and that one we're going to leave for now. That one's doing absolutely fine. So it's this one, although this is a very large, very nice, very decent and relatively new piece of machinery. Having that direct drill functionality will be quite nice. Obviously we did buy a Joker to be able to cultivate things as well in the last episode, but I still think the ability to direct drill is a big benefit. So the new seeder I think is about 135,000. We could technically speaking of course buy it outright without trading anything in, but I don't feel that we're at a stage where we need to keep 3 relatively large seeders on the farm. That may well be the case one day if we keep expanding, but right now we're not at a stage where our current combination of 2 seeders and 1 planter and a potato planter can't manage to cover our fields during the season, when we mix it up a little bit between some spring seeding and some autumn seeding, some winter seeds as well, of course. I am toying with the idea. There's a new mod that's come out called Realistic Seed, which I really like to look at. It basically locks the type of seed, so you have to buy the type of seed that you want to put in the ground, so wheat seeds, barley seeds and so forth. And I'm very tempted to get that one because I like that idea that, you know, you don't just have magic seeds that you can swap over. So it may very well be that when we're into the next episode, when we're actually going to start doing some of this autumn seeding, that we are going to be buying in the real seeds. The only difficulty with that is I've just invested in the seed maker that we got on the farm, and obviously I don't think that will work with it. So the question is whether we get rid of that one. That might be an option, then we just buy in our seeds again. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below, if you have a particular strong feeling about that. But first we're just going to have a look here, because we'll have to repair this one probably a little bit and then see what we get for it. So we're actually getting 110,000, almost 111,000 euros back for our Certo 12SC here. So we're definitely going to go for that. And we've sold it. And this is the machine that we are going to be picking up instead. I guess in some ways you might go, what's the difference? They almost look identical. But this is a DataLund seeder, and it has that direct drill capability. And it gives us an opportunity to try something out from the new DLC at the same time, of course. So that's also pretty nice. So actually that overall cost us just about 25,000-30,000 euros. So that is not too bad at all. So we'll just hop out and at least have a little bit of a look on our brand new seeder here. It's looking good. It's got the discs. Everything's looking good. 2 distributors up there, and big set of pipe work coming through here up to the pump. So yeah, it's all looking good. We won't be using it today in this episode, but next episode, where we move probably into mid-autumn before we finish this grass cutting silage work, we will also be starting to do some autumn seeding. I don't want to start it too early. We don't want things growing too much and ending up getting frost damage. We want it in sort of the right. We want it germinated, but not too far along so that it starts taking frost damage over winter. It also depends a bit on the weather, of course. The initial forecast for mid-autumn was looking pretty wet. So I guess if that's the case and we can't do harvest, maybe we can do some seeding if the ground isn't clumping up too bad at least. But for now, the only job with this is really to get it back onto the farm and park back up in the shed. But it's an important thing to do, and remember to do while we got some money, because in just a moment, once we drop this off, we are gonna be spending quite a lot of money as well. So we are back with our new seeder, and I am gently and carefully putting it into the shed. We don't want to dent or bump our new machinery. But there's plenty of space in this shed. If we go for this realistic seed, I reckon we'd store seeds in here, in this corner where I'm kind of putting the new seeder right now. We have plenty of space, so it shouldn't be a problem. So while we're in a T7, we're going to take it down. We are going to strap some twin tires on it. We're going to get the scraper blades and the silage roller put onto it as well. And then we can get some of the silage compacted while cutting is going on one of the other fields. But while this one's in workshop, we're just going to head up to the office and have a little look at the map. So here we are, looking at the map of Eiersholt, thinking where we started. We've certainly managed to capture a bit more land. Now field 17 up here in the corner, that's a leased field, so it's showing its hours, but we are getting a steady rate, and I like that idea, and we may well end up leasing another field, but I would also like to buy field 33 here. It's sort of a long, thin one, but it's close to the farm, and I think we want to put maybe alfalfa in on 32 and then have 30 and 33 as grass, and then we can think about 27 and 50 for other smaller things. Possibly if the potatoes up on field 14 go well, we might want to do another one of those. But It is 387 euros to buy Field 33, but that is where our money is going to go today. This is not really our main harvest income yet. Obviously this is some of the money that we made from bales, but it's also just money coming in from milk. And obviously part of the reason why we're doing this is for the milk. So we got the twin tires onto the T7, get it hooked up so we can get some of that grass compacted down before the next loads start coming in. So I tend to put a roll on the back and the blade on the front. The blade helps us level off, and the roller certainly gives us a hefty amount of weight on the back, and we can lower it to help compaction later on. The difficult bit is right at this stage where we got the roll on the back and we still haven't got that extra weight from the blade on the front, but here we go. This stabilizes things a little bit more. So it's quite a mount to climb here. We'll try and do a little bit in cab here first, just to see how bouncy and janky this is going to get. Oh dear, not quite is the answer already, but we'll just have to maybe lower the blade down a bit and see if we can push up a bit here. I want to try and get it right out against the walls on the side there, if we can manage, so I have to push it a little bit sideways here to begin with, just to try and fill up down here so we don't get sort of big hollow gaps that we end up falling into. So we're starting to get the front of the pile worked up a bit here, but there's still a lot to push down here at the back. Likewise, we don't want that big gap at the back. We want to get it pushed down and leveled off here, but it will just take a bit of time and patience, but it's actually not too bad with a tractor this size. This doesn't have to be perfect yet because there's more coming in, but I just would like to level it off enough that maybe we can push stuff up on top of here and try and keep it level, fill in the gaps along the sides so that nothing gets caught while we're trying to tip. So I think we're at a point where this is actually a decent enough slope, just a few uneven bumps over here, but nothing too dramatic. Push it up a little more against the wall there, and we can leave this for more stuff coming in. I'm just going to take a quick look on our help screen here once I probably shouldn't leave it parked here because we are going to be unloading more in. I'll just reverse over here into the bay next door and stop it here. We're just going to hop over, turn on our help screen so we can see the volume. So right now we got 354,000 litres of silage sitting in here. There's a little bit of a divot over in this hole, but nothing too bad. Once that was just the first field. Now that we've bought Field 33, we've just created a bunch more work because that one's got grass on it, and we're going to cut that to silage as well. So very, very shortly I'm going to be cracking on rest of today and probably most of tomorrow in early autumn to finish off the silage work, but I will do that off screen. In the meantime, as the last thing today, it's a little bit of a short tour this time. I'm sorry, I've been quite busy with work this week, so I'm just trying to catch up on recording, so it might end up being a little bit shorter this episode, but now it's summer holiday, so I'll have a little bit more time. But here we are. This is our straw pellets. As you can see, there's still a lot of it. And I've used our 2 IT runner containers and started filling them up here. So if we just hop up here, and we see one's empty. That was the one that I took up, and we filled up the other one. So we're able to, as long as we leave the doors open for a bit of ventilation, we can quite happily run our telehandler in here and fill these up so that they can get taken up to the photo shop, and we can sell off some of these pellets. So I think that is the last thing we're going to do today, is that we are going to get this container here loaded up, and then we're going to bring the truck down, and we're going to go up to the photo shop, get that sold just before we get back on doing a lot of silage work. So the benefit of getting this done now is also that as we're working on it, we might actually manage to clear the space, I hope, eventually, although there's a lot of these pellets in there. But if we get the space cleared, that means we have somewhere to dump our potatoes when it comes to that. I don't know how many potatoes we should be expecting. It's not a huge field, but then again, I really didn't think we had this many straw pellets when it came down to it. But let's see, 45,000 in each. I've dropped off one load. We're filling another 2 here, so that's 9. That's 135,000 liters of pellets we've created there. That's quite a bit, and there might even be more in here. So that's us full up on the container here. As you can see, there's a little bit left in the shovel, but we are clearing a space here. But that's actually still quite a lot of pellets in this hole to clear out. So we better get our hook lift truck and get one of these up to the photo shop while there's still time. It's coming up to 5:30 in the afternoon, and they're probably not going to stay around all night, so we'll go and get a truck. So it's a little bit tight as we reverse in through the gate down here, but we've done it once, we should manage to do it again. And then we should be able to do the full turn afterwards, but we just got to be careful here because it's very easy to get a bit too carried away and go straight into that pump. So just gonna go back a bit there, and then stick our nose up against the building here. And then we should be good. It's a fairly long truck, so just got to take it a little bit easy coming around the corner here. Whoop, gotta make sure I don't hit the gate there. Should have waited until I was inside, but we got it, and I think we can just back straight in. So there is just enough room there under the beams to pull the trailer up. It's a good thing it isn't any bigger. It's big enough as it is, but that's us ready to go. And that's us away. Now, normally Eiersholt farm doesn't feel tight. There's lots of space to maneuver even large machinery. This is one of those relatively few occasions. That sort of old yellow shed there has a little bit narrower entranceway. I guess it might have been one of the older or more original parts of the farm before everything was modernized. But we're gonna head our way down towards the photo shop. And while the truck is making its way up to the Photoshop, we just also hop into the pickup here. I think we should just head over and have a look at our new field. We have, after all, just spent 387,000 euros. So it's the neighboring field right on the other side here. I think I should have probably noticed that before, but I think we can get into it from this side here, up the road. So obviously we use this access road to get into the top field. We harvested oat up there a couple of episodes ago. But let's see now, because that's our field straight ahead here. And now here on the left or straight ahead here is our new field, which is looking pretty good. As you can see, it is nice and lush. Wow, potential harvest quantity 900,000 litres. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case, but as you can see, we have some really lush grass standing ready here. So the idea would be that obviously with a growing herd of cattle, we are going to need silage and hay in larger and larger quantities. So that's why we're bringing in this field. But I think it would be nice just to put the drone up and have a little look at the size of this field, because although it looks narrow on the map, it is actually quite big. So here we are up on the drone. As we can see, it's actually, compared to the field over here, that's ours. This is actually quite a large field. That's the one we had wheat on earlier. But as you can see, this field stretches up quite a long way. So if we just do a pan up the field here, we can follow it all the way up. So we can see there's a couple of other fields around here. We actually have a bridge connecting these two, so that'll be quite nice if we do end up. If we put alfalfa down in the middle field here that we had before, and we use this one as well for grass or something like that, and it actually sort of bends around and come up here, and even this area in itself is pretty huge. So if we try and go up a little bit higher, we can now actually see right out over the size of Eiersholt farm here. Okay, field 17 down here, where there's still a couple of bales sitting down on the ground, and we've got to get cleared off. They'll be half rotten by now, but all the way over here. Now this field is leased, but is currently part of the farm. All the way over there along the green strip. Here's our field 15, our largest field still, where we harvested canola off this year. And then we can see in over the main farmyard itself. And at the back here is one of the fields still awaiting harvest, our cornfield. That is going to be one of the larger jobs here for mid-autumn. Over on the other side of field 15 up there towards the horse farm, we do have a field of potatoes that I just sort of missed out on showing you. But here we are. Coming over on the other side is a field of millet that's also ours to attend with here. That will be ready shortly. We harvested oat over here on field 53. And then we have another small grass field down here in the corner, right at the crossroads. That is one of the ones I'm thinking of ploughing up and using for something else. Now that we got the new and larger grass field closer to the farm, because it's a fair old distance to cart things. Obviously we have just done it here on the other side of the water. This field here is where we just finished cutting our grass, and we should be able to see our Jaguar there and maybe come down to a bit of a landing there, and then we'll just go and see how this selling of straw pellets is going today. So our truck has arrived out at the Photoshop. Straw pellets get delivered here at the sell point so that we can get things sold off, and we'll see. I'll switch some HUD back on now so that we can see what we're getting. So we got 70,000 euros for another load. So that's a very, very decent income. It kind of makes it feel like it was worth doing those pellets. It took an awful long time in the Krone Primus to grind through that field, but we are reaping the benefits of that. We are already back up to 143,000 euros after spending what we spent today, close to 400,000. So that's actually not too bad at all. But with a little bit of long shadows here in the evening setting in, I'm going to start heading back to the farm. I'm going to be working quite late tonight because there's a lot more silage to come in. And when you join me in the next episode, we'll be into mid-autumn. We'll see A, what the weather is like, and B, whether the harvest is ready, because we'll have potentially corn, millet and potatoes. It is possible that corn won't be ready till later in the autumn, in late autumn, but we'll see. We'll have a big pile of silage, hopefully all compacted, ready and done at that point. It'll start getting a little bit colder, and we want to start putting bedding down for animals. I think we are also imminent on the arrival of the first of our piglets on the farm after we bought in breeding pigs. So there's still quite a lot going on here on Eiersholt Farm, and I hope that you're still enjoying watching. We've been at this for a while now. There is a new version of the map coming out soon, so we might have to make some adjustments, seeing if we can bring over... I don't think we'll be able to continue exactly the same save game, but I will be looking at bringing over most of the farm and land and so forth. We might also make some changes. That all depends, of course, on what comes out and what is part of that new version, but we'll just have to wait and see. But with me driving back here, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for stopping by, and thank you very much to both new and old subscribers again. We're up to, like, as I'm recording this, we're up to 97 subscribers, which is, wow, fantastic. I really genuinely never thought we were gonna get that many on this channel. It's just me having fun with Farming Simulator, and videos are only coming out sort of once a week, so it's not a high frequency channel. So I very, very much appreciate your support and your interest for the channel. So do stop by again if you enjoy the content. But for now, thank you very much from Overcord Gaming, and see you again soon.